All right, what up, friends? I know everyone's been hearing about these weak auras. Everyone's like, oh, I got the Firelands weak aura. Oh, I love it so much. And maybe you're like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I'm here to help. So weak auras, beautiful add-on. Basically, the weak auras add-on is a means for you to upload all kinds of other different things that other people create in terms of these UI setups for like boss encounters, class stuff, etc. So if you want weak auras, you got to have your Curse Forge, or if you like to do add-ons manually, go for it. You're gonna find weak auras, install that bitch, and you're gonna log into your game. You're gonna find weak auras. I have this beautiful. This is a hiding bar, is what I use for my add-ons. But a lot of times it'll be a mini map icon automatically. So you find weak auras, you open it up. And I have stripped down my weak ores for y'all because I'm going to show you the basics and then I'm going to also show you how to do the Firelands pack. It is a few steps. So first of all, I have a couple weak auras. First one's very basic, just max camera angle. Highly recommend this one if anyone is looking to zoom their camera out just a little further in a boss encounter. This is my Shaman class pack. This is a Fojji weak aura. So basically, weak auras have these big mama groups, and then beneath are all the little babies, and all the little babies do different things. So as you can see on my screen, this particular aura is all in this one big box here. Um, but it has different elements. So I have it kind of shrunk down. Keeping in mind, a lot of this is not overlapping the way it looks here. This is showing every possible thing that could be in these spaces. It is not necessarily what is in those spaces at all times. So, for instance, I mostly only see like my Riptide and my basic spells to see what's off cooldown, what's going on here. Um, and then this little thing here is also great. Now, I repositioned these a bit from when I first got it. So I moved them according to like where I have my heal bot, how I have that anchored, etc. And I kind of lined it all up nice and neat. But if I wanted to move it around as a group, for instance, I'd click my great big group here, and you're on the settings. It's going to automatically be on group settings, and you're going to scroll down. It's going to say position settings. And then you can choose where it's anchored. In this instance, they have it anchored in the middle versus being anchored maybe at the top left or whatever. So everything is going to click into the middle. And then you can, if you have it to the screen, same here. And then you can adjust the height and like how like to the left or to the right it is with the X and Y axis. So you're going to, if you find this little yellow bar, you don't have to click arrows. You can just click and drag and put it where you want it to go. So you get this nice, clean little thing. Okay, let's say you don't want to move the whole group. You just want to move a bit, kind of like me. I only wanted to move these little bloopy doops here, these little proc things. So what I did was I click this first one, luckily, is texture procs. And so texture procs is all these little things up here. And same thing, it automatically puts you on the group tab of the settings. You're going to go down. You can also, I recommend locking your weak auras so they don't move around. And then you can go down again, position. So I could set it further to the left. You can see all these little anchor locks showing where it's anchoring from. So if I were to move the whole group again, this would move according to that same positioning. So in this case, I'm going to set it back to where I had it. Roughly right there. Somewhere in that region, you know. And then you can also, again, up and down accordingly. If you want to see how I've clicked this and now it's only showing this, you're like, where's all that other shit? So these little eyeballs. These little eyeballs are going to be your friends. So this is how you'll decide if you can view everything or not. So if I click the eyeball in the Big Mama group, it's going to show me everything in the Big Mama group. And so now if I want to go adjust this, I'm still on here on the Shaman Proc textures, but I've just now shown the whole group. So you can see I'm only still editing this area here. And so I can still adjust like the height and width accordingly. Sorry, I'm pooping totems again. Um, and so it's like pretty, for the most part, I'd say pretty simple. Oh gosh, look at me. It's like not even touch. You gotta actually find the little yellow highlighter. It won't drag. Um, so yeah, this is a very, for the most part, straightforward in terms of like repositioning things. Now there is something that I do a little different. So this is going to be a little bit more advanced. So we're going to go to reminders. Okay, shaman reminders. This is what's going to remind me that stuff is missing. I think there's a couple of these reminders here, but this one it says reminders 2 for some reason. So I'm going to expand this little baby into its little babies. And this is where it's going to tell me stuff. Now, part of the resto section of this is like Earth Shield will tell me when it's not up. She'll say Earth Shield. And I wanted her to also tell me when my flippin' water shield's not up, because ever since I switched to the Fojji week aura, I have a harder time noticing that it's not up. But even then, I still struggled. So I went to water shield here, found this in the reminders. And if you can see, it says, you know, Shaman Water Shield. It's got the icons, auras. It says trigger, trigger conditions, trigger conditions. So all of that is going to be in here. So we're going to go to trigger. And so this is something that it has already like certain conditions preset, right? So it has things preset to do in general, and I gave it an additional trigger essentially. So it has like the trigger to desaturate when it's not active, for instance. So it's triggered to go black and white whenever I am not like bestowed with the buff, right? So there's things like that you can do, like if blank, then blank. And so these are like little different. So the conditions and the triggers are different. So the trigger is the thing that tells the condition to happen. The condition itself is a different thing entirely. So to add condition, that's when you're going to do the if then. So if, in this case, how did I do this again? So if not true is what I would be looking for. So basically if not true, then it would make a sound. And then it's got a thing somewhere in here. I'm so sorry. Condition. Yeah, so basically let's say I wanted to like, if it's active. Oh, here it is. So if it's active, see, this is weak auras are just like constantly trying to remember what the fuck I did the last time. If it's active, false. Active being false. So then in this case, not true or not active. Then I want it to play a sound. That sound will be just one play. So you can play a loop or just one play. Probably need a loop. And then you can pick the sound. So I probably need to make it give an air horn, but that's other boss sounds, and I know that. So I go with the water drop. So you can see there's all kinds of freaking sounds to choose from. And then there's like extra ones down here. You've got like voices.
Moon.
See, they say different things.
Taunt.
Right. So this is like the kind of stuff that you're going to hear. Like in the Firelands pack, she's like face rage and things like that. So she'll call it out.
Star.
And then, so we have stuff like this. So I go, where do I find my water drop? Not that it really matters, but it looks a swoosh, but not a sploosh, right? So somewhere in here, there's like a little water drop. That's what I used. I just like the sound. There it is, drop. So yeah, so you pick a sound. right? So let's say I want it to drop. All right, and then I want to pick the channel. So in this case, I want it to go through the master channel. I don't want to get it drowned out by any of my other adjusted settings. So it's going to be the same volume as the master volume. And then you just add property change. Okay, and then now it has an extra condition. So, and then these are the triggers that trigger those conditions, right? So I am not as familiar with these in order to coach you further on those, but we can definitely get questions answered if people have them. So now that you kind of understand the basis of like what is all this fucking shit you're looking at, and you can get way deeper into this, but this is just like if you want to get the most out of the least effort, these are the things to know. So now if we want to get the Firelands pack, that's going to be a couple steps. So for starters, the Fojji Firelands pack is a Fojji weak aura. So if you want Fojji weak auras, you have to go to your Curse Forge and you have to install Fojji Core. And as you see, I already have it. It's up to date. That's how I have my Shaman aura. It is a Fojji weak aura. I did a website review thing or like a crash course on helpful sites, and I included the website I use for all my Fojji Core auras. So I get your Fojji Core, then I will link all of these here as well, but you're going to want to go to, oh my goodness, this is going to be a Fojji Raid Anchors pack that you'll need for Cataclysm. So Fojji Raid Anchors here. If you've never imported a weak aura, probably should have covered that earlier, but we get to learn now. So if you never imported a weak aura, you want your weak auras open, you're going to click import. And then you get this nice little blank thing here. So you're going to tab out again. You're going to go to the website. We need, it'll tell you. Also, by the way, sometimes on these it'll let you know what you need. So this will even tell you need Fojji Core here. And then there's also like help websites here listed. So those are also, you know, places you can go for resources on things and to see if things aren't working or what's going on or if you're having trouble. So for now, we're going to copy the import string because we want to load it in. And then just in case you don't know, Control V is generally the default paste command for most PCs. So you're going to Control V or paste, and then you can see it's going to have the pack loaded in here. Sometimes it'll hang for a bit, and it'll lag out and kind of just take a second. So you just got to give it a minute. It generally, in my experience, doesn't crash the game, but if you're running it on a really shit PC, who knows? So again, you're going to just import. After that, if you want, you can view custom code. Fojji's always going to come up with the warnings of the custom Lua codes. So now you have your Fojji Raid Anchors pack. Now this is the anchor pack for all of the Fojji Raid auras. So if you want one for BWD, BOT, all of that stuff, you're going to need to use the Fojji Raid Anchor pack. Now the other thing that is important to know is that you have to adjust all of your anchors before you load in your raid packs. So basically, what we were doing before with the little shaman aura, you have to do that for this. So I stripped all my stuff out to make this video, which broke me. Okay, but it's fine. So what we're going to do, same thing as before. You can click individual things and see what's up. I mostly am worried about the stuff on the left side of the screen, honestly, so I'm going to stick to that for now. Some of this needs to move around for me. Also, I like to see where everything is, so let's do this. So you can also adjust the scale. So if you go to group, let's say I want this whole thing to get a lot smaller. Go to scale. Scale it down to what you like. That's totally fine. A lot of these are probably big for a reason, but that's okay. It's all about how you like to play, And that's why these are so lovely and adjustable. So you can literally, if you're not sure what you're clicking, just keep clicking through. If you like know what area you're looking for and you want to be freaking lazy like me here, you just keep clicking through until bam, the thing you want is highlighted with the box. And now I know I'm adjusting that. And for this right now, for the moment, because I don't even remember how I had this, I'm just going to scale some things down. So you go through and just figure out everything that you want in terms of that. And I just try to make sure nothing's covering up my Curse Forge too much. I will warn you with the Firelands pack and potentially with this might be part of the Anchor pack. My Healbot gets bestowed with these lovely debuff icons for tanks and all that. It's great because it's showing me how many stacks they have of these debuffs. As you can see up here, like Widow's Kiss and all that. These are things that we want to see are on the tank, like especially if we need to know they need big heals because they're above their threshold of stacks. But the the size I have on, I don't know if it's the size or what, I haven't played with it enough to fully figure it out, but you will want to check it out and do some adjusting because it's going to cover the entire health bar. And you're going to go, oh fuck, does this tank have health or not? I don't know. He's covered in debuffs. So don't get caught, off guard like I did. Adjust your anchors because we can't load in the pack till we fix it. For the most part, this is where I want it. Not all of this is going to be active all at once. Again, remember, this is a lot of shit. Only some of these are even moves from certain bosses, so it's just going to be what's there. And it's usually these things that are overlapped are not necessarily going to show up at, like, why would they design these anchors to overlap kind of thing if they were going to be an imposition? Like, this is something that somebody thought out decently well. That said, we all have different looking interfaces. And so some things are just easier for other people than others. So you can also, like this, I don't like because it's showing me the babies, but I can from there find the Big Daddy group here if I want to adjust the scale because it's just going to be all in my way. I just need a little quick visual frame of reference like this one here. I'll still adjust the daddy group just in case. I just make it a little smaller so I don't get too overwhelmed. And bam, I think that's going to be good enough for me to load in my Firelands pack and potentially accidentally forget to fuck with anything else again until the next raid. So you don't have to do anything special to save it. It's just saved now. Now, if you want to be really, really certain that your settings are saved, you'll want to do a proper logout. I'm going to not take my own advice right now for the sake of not putting you through me logging out and in. So, we did the thing. You'd probably want to log out and back in just for your own sanity. Going to go to the weak auras again and click import. Now we're going to go back out. We're going to go to this lovely Fojji aura reference site that I have, and we're going to go down to the bottom, and we are going to look for the Firelands. So this is here, and you can see the version number, so you can check if it's up to date, because then you go to the weak auras. Let me show you real quick where you can find the version number. So if you see on this info tooltip that's popping up in the bottom, towards the very bottom, it says version 1.0.16. And then on the website, you can see the Shaman Week Aura here, 1.0.16. So we are good to go. Now we're going to import the Firelands string. It's going to take a minute. My computer doesn't like it. It's got like 400 and some odd little babies or whatever, and it just gets mad. So it's going to hang. And then it's really kind of plug and play from there. You can adjust some of the things, but once you've got your anchors settled where you feel comfortable with them in your UI, the pack is just going to know, like, what role are you in? What do you need to know? It's smart. This is stuff that raiders who take things pretty seriously use in order to be successful. And so this is something that, I mean, for the most part, it makes it easy. At least for me, it just makes it very easy mode to just be kind of told only what's pertinent, especially when we have like things going off in our ears like GTFO and everything else. Sometimes too much. I learned to tune it out and I'm not as tuned in. And so this has been a game changer for me. So we're going to click import on the Firelands pack there. And it's going to take its sweet little time, and that's okay, because we're going to be down in bosses and kicking ass. And when multiple people have the weak auras and the same weak auras, they interact together in a way that's more cohesive. Also, our raid leader uses method raid tools, so it's going to tell him who's got the weak auras and whatnot. It can be just really helpful. So nobody is ever forced to do any specific add-ons, but this is an add-on that the more people that do it, the more cohesive of a tool it is, and I think that's always a fun time to be just more efficient in general. So you can still, after this Firelands pack goes in, adjust whatever. As you can see, there are different timers and other things happening over here. And it's the same premise as before. As long as you've adjusted your anchors before you load in your Firelands pack, you can then go in and adjust on the Firelands pack from there. If you do not adjust your anchors first, it will be a bitch. So, this is your crash course in weak auras. I hope that you are a little bit better at weak auras for it, and I hope that I've left you with more answers than questions. Feel free to email me at thesplooshandfriends@gmail.com if you have more questions. And otherwise, I hope you have fun out there.